Good evening. It's Wednesday the 1st of July. I'm Dal Darmy. This is Yeah Right News on Yeah Right TV. Firstly, an update on the coronavirus epidemic. 176 deaths in the last 24 hours. Nearly 400 deaths this week so far in the UK. Now, the Department of Health says the death toll stands at 43,906, where all deaths are lab confirmed. Separate government figures show we passed 50,000 deaths a month ago. So what they did was from January till the 1st of July, they look at the average amount of deaths every year for the past 20 years. This year, the figures are 65,000 higher than the norm. 65,000. You know what I mean? 3,000 people are still being infected in England daily with coronavirus. Now, compared to where we were in April, that's where we were in April, we're seeing numbers of both deaths and infections coming down. But there are numerous reasons why what's happening in Leicester is going to happen in numerous locations across the UK. Firstly, all the marches last month across the UK, because there were people marching for Black Lives Matter, there were people marching for Save the Statues, and there were people marching just to have a fight. There was no social distancing, there were thousands and thousands of people everywhere marching, so that's obviously going to cause another hit. Then you've got, obviously now, last week, scenes in Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool man, it's great they won the league, but the scenes in the city with the amount of people celebrating, I know it's been 30 years yet, but that is going to cause another outbreak in Liverpool in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. Obviously, the airport's open as normal for arrivals throughout this pandemic. They're still open. Everything's about normal. They're not checking anyone. They're just relying on them to wear a mask. So that's going to keep carrying on. There's no track and trace in place, which is obviously, they said at the start, most countries are saying it's crucial for it to work, a track and trace system. And the way the beaches have been packed every day since May, because they've been packed every day and there's been no social distancing. So therefore, you got a lot of illnesses. Now, what's happening is the majority of these people are the younger generation. It's the younger generation now that are getting hit. And finally, this government's handling of this whole pandemic, right from the start, right up to what's happening in Leicester. This government have chatted pure bollocks from day one. Now, let's have a look. Firstly, shortage of PPE in March.
Oh, come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
There was a massive shortage of PPE, so what did? They started counting a pair of gloves as 2 pieces of PPE. To make it sound like they were getting more than they did. What a bunch of wankers. Secondly, not including out of hospital deaths in their daily briefings until early May.
Warning, bullshit alert.
So basically, they just ignored the deaths that were happening in the care homes. They let it happen. They sent people home and they didn't include them in the numbers at all until mid-May. You know what I mean? Wankers. Thirdly, inaccurate testing numbers being given. They had one person, he'd have a test in his nose, a test in his mouth, and they'd class that as 2 tests. You know what I mean? Just to get the test numbers up. Wankers. Secondly, telling us the new track and trace app was key, spending loads of money on it and then scrapping it.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
You know what I mean? They spent so much money on it, they give it 110. If you watch the briefings, the news briefings from the early May and what they went on and on about it. Wankers. Next one. Inaccurate test numbers part 2. Telling us, this amount of tests were done daily, where in reality they were telling us how many tests have been posted out.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
You know what I mean? Just carries on. And then now this new one, not giving the public the truth in how many new infections are in your area.
Oh, come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
Now the numbers that they give us are what's recorded in hospital, not what's recorded everywhere. So let me give you an example. Take Leicester. In the week ending the 22nd to the 28th of June, 83 recorded infections were recorded. The real total was 937. The real total. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was. They're 90% of the numbers they're not giving us. Now the local health authorities are giving this number, but the info was not given us to me and you, to the general public. And it also took 11 days for Leicester to be given the full info of what was happening. 11 days. Now, all I can say about the Tory government is...
Warning, bullshit alert.
Every time they speak. Now, Leicester has been put back into lockdown. Now, how do you lock down a city? You have to close all the exits. So if you've got a country, you close all the borders. But a city doesn't have borders. So how do you close a city? What do you do? Do you put police in every exit? Do you stop people? Now this picture shows how Leicester has been locked down. Is that fucking ridiculous or what? So people across the road can't go out, but the people at the other side of the road can. Now check this picture out. Now the border puts the one on the left able to go out on the piss on Saturday. The ones on the right have to stay at home. Now that's how the border is. Bloody hell, it's like the bloody Indian-Pakistan border. You know what I'm saying? How it was run. You know what I mean? Now they can't go out. They can. What's happening in Leicester is an absolute mess. What the fuck is going on, man? I'll tell you, this government's fucked it. Now, we contacted some of our viewers in Leicester to get their thoughts on why Leicester was back in lockdown, and this is the few things they said. They said Eid, that goes towards the end of May, Eid was celebrated, and a lot of people out celebrating. There was no social distancing going on, and everyone was going out at party time, you know what I mean? And then you've got these sweatshops. Now, what they're saying is these sweatshops stayed open throughout the lockdown in Leicester. The people who work there were told you either come in or you're not going to get paid or you're going to get sacked. And the majority of people that work in these sweatshops are on low incomes, have big families, and need to feed their kids. And they're saying that a lot of this happened in sweatshops. It's also now happening in Walker's outbreak, and a lot of meat places are getting, you know what I mean? What's the crap with the meat? Now look at how coronavirus cases in Leicester have increased since March. Now, what we said before, how do you keep Leicester in lockdown? You've got people hiring coaches for this Saturday to go to Derby to go out on the piss in Leicester. There's people planning trips to Derby, to Leicester, to Nottingham. Sorry, not from Leicester, to Coventry, just to go out on the piss. So how are they going to do? They're going to block the motorways. They're going to grab everyone as they go out. It's ridiculous. Government's a joke. Now, these are the 10 locations approaching a second lockdown. So these locations are up shit creek as well. Now, since June the 1st, everyone has been acting like the pandemic is over. It's the fucking government's fault we are thinking this, and the fact that we are surrounded by fools. You know what I mean? Now, coronavirus is smashing America apart, approaching 50,000 new cases every day, 130,000 dead, and cases rising rapidly. This is down to easing of lockdown too early, specifically in Florida, which is getting absolutely dealt with, and also having a president who is a complete and utter fool. And now to really fuck things up, life-threatening high temperatures are predicted weather-wise for central and southern areas of America next week. You know what I mean? They're fucked. Now, Ecuador is now the epicenter of COVID-19 in South America, so they're getting dealt with in Ecuador. And the one drug that is licensed to treat COVID-19, which is Remdesivir, has been bought out by America, all the world supply for the next 3 months. So because we're having it, no one else is having it. And the person who raised the deal, Donald fucking Trump. Wanker. Now in others news, pictures show dozens of residents from Leicester heading to Nottingham for the 4th of July. Leeds United are forced to remove a picture of Osama bin Laden from the crowd amid fears Sky Sports could impose a Taliban. And Prince Andrew has cause for concern when he is pictured with a 15-year-old escort. And after the government blames UK's high death toll on the weather, doctors struggle to remember the massive snowdrifts that prevented people from getting PPE and completely blocked off all care homes. Now, to ensure racial equality, vacuum manufacturers released one for the BAME community. And the government pledges $1 billion for British schools, or $1.1 billion if Marcus Rashford pushes his wild theory that children need food to live. A man with a stammer has been jailed, although the judge rules he's unlikely to finish his sentence. And finally, Boris Johnson vows to tackle obesity in the UK after seeing great results from a steady diet of eating his own fucking words. Now, what is the final? This is the final. What is or was the world's longest bus journey? What do you reckon? You know what I mean, viewers? What you're saying? It's this one. Check this out. London to Calcutta. £145 in 1972. From England to Belgium to West Germany to Austria, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. 6 weeks. Killed it! What a trip. Check these pictures out. You know what I mean? Check that. Imagine going on that trip. You know what I mean? So that's the news finished. Food for thought about the coronavirus, viewers, because it is fucking serious. Don't put your guard down. Have a nice evening, and I'll see you Friday. I'm Dowd Army. This is Yeah Right News on Yeah Right TV.